They say the beautiful game is cruel, but few stories capture that brutality with the dramatic clarity of Eden Hazard's. This was a man whose talent was a luxury few could afford, a golden gift that promised to redefine an era. For nearly a decade, he was a king, untouchable, mesmerizing. But in the space of one transfer and one cruel injury, the pedestal shattered. This is the tragic cinematic account of a generational talent who went from the pinnacle of football royalty to the heartbreak of an early silence. Welcome to Luxe Legends, where power, glory, and legacy clash. Number 1. How does a small-town Belgian boy become the most coveted attacking force in a global league? Eden Hazard's journey began not in a bustling metropolis but in the quiet, football-mad town of Braine-le-Comte, Belgium. Raised in a family of footballers, with both parents and his 3 younger brothers all playing professionally, he was imbued with the game from birth, a destiny that seemed as predetermined as it was gilded. But despite the supportive environment, his raw, unteachable talent was evident from a young age. Described by youth coaches as a gifted player who knew everything, therefore his path led him across the border to Lille's academy in France, where his rise became impossible to ignore. Did the immense European pressure test him, or did it simply sharpen his genius? After making his professional debut at just 16, Hazard quickly established himself as the most exciting prospect in Ligue 1. He was an electric, audacious dribbler, capable of single-handedly winning matches with moments of individual brilliance. But it was in the 2010-11 season that he truly delivered on his promise, leading Lille to a historic league and cup double at the age of 20. Therefore, his performance earned him back-to-back Ligue 1 Player of the Year awards, a feat that signaled his readiness for the biggest stage, igniting a bidding war among Europe's elite. What makes a young player choose one giant over another? In 2012, Hazard famously announced his next destination via Twitter, Chelsea. It was a statement transfer, a declaration that London would be the stage for his genius. But arriving in the cutthroat environment of the Premier League required him to translate his Gallic flair into ruthless consistency, a task he embraced. Therefore, he quickly cemented himself as the star of a new era at Stamford Bridge, where his prime would truly take flight. Number 2. Was the Premier League truly Eden Hazard's perfect throne? His 7 seasons at Chelsea were a masterclass in attacking football, a dazzling exhibition of close control, power, and final third ruthlessness. He transcended mere talent to become the team's irreplaceable talisman. But the 2014-15 season under Jose Mourinho was the peak of his dominance, where he was virtually unplayable, leading Chelsea to the league and cup double and earning the PFA Players Player of the Year award. Therefore, he proved he could combine beautiful football with the brutal effectiveness required to win major trophies in the world's most demanding league. How did he sustain this level of elite performance amid constant change? Hazard played under a relentless rotation of demanding managers, from Mourinho to Conte to Sarri, each with a different tactical philosophy. He adapted every time, consistently delivering elite output, tallying 110 goals and 92 assists in 352 games for the club. But his most profound challenge was the sheer amount of physical punishment he absorbed, constantly being fouled as the only way defenders could stop him. Therefore, he was often singled out for rough treatment, a consequence of his brilliance that invisibly began to wear down the resilience of his ankles and body. Did the allure of the biggest club in the world prove too strong to resist? For years, the move to Real Madrid was his openly stated dream, a luxury destination that promised to elevate his status from great Premier League player to true global icon. He stayed for Chelsea's final major triumph in the 2019 Europa League, scoring 2 goals and assisting another in the final. But following that triumph, the siren call of the Santiago Bernabeu, backed by an initial $89 million transfer fee, became irresistible. Therefore, he left London as a legend, ready to embark on a chapter that was expected to crown his already stellar career. Number 3. Why did the dream move to Real Madrid transform into one of modern football's most spectacular and tragic collapses? The moment Hazard arrived in Madrid, the narrative began to unravel. Photos of him appearing overweight on his first preseason quickly became a symbol of a potential lack of commitment. But this physical laxity was compounded by a devastating sequence of injuries, primarily focused on his ankle, which was first damaged in late 2019 after a tackle by his Belgian teammate Thomas Meunier. Therefore, this initial injury led to a vicious cycle of relapses, muscle problems, and a loss of the explosive pace and dynamism that defined his prime. Could one single tackle truly destroy a superstar career? The injury was not just a fracture, it fundamentally compromised his running mechanics and confidence, leading to multiple surgeries and a permanent loss of form. He was never the same electric player. But the relentless nature of the physical setbacks, 7 major injuries in his first few seasons at Madrid, prevented him from ever achieving consistent fitness or rhythm, forcing him to miss over 40 matches in a period where he was expected to be the team's talisman. Therefore, the $89 million investment yielded a miserable return of only 7 goals and 12 assists in 76 appearances, a staggering drop-off that shocked the football world. What is the ultimate psychological toll when a player's body betrays his genius? Hazard's struggles in Madrid were agonizing to watch. The man who once made defenders look foolish could barely complete a full 90 minutes. He won trophies, including La Liga and the Champions League, but his role in these triumphs was minimal, often watching from the bench as a substitute, a ghost of his former self. Therefore, the immense pressure of the Real Madrid shirt, coupled with his recurring physical pain and the inevitable questioning of his commitment, proved an insurmountable obstacle that led to his contract being terminated early in 2023. Number 4. How does a player reconcile a life defined by brilliance with a career ending in failure? The aftermath of his Real Madrid exit was a quiet reflection, a silence that spoke volumes about his disillusionment. He remained a free agent for months, entertaining rumors of lower-level clubs. But having achieved financial security and realized that his body could no longer meet the demands of elite football, he made the brave decision to announce his retirement in October 2023 at the remarkably young age of 32. Therefore, he chose to listen to his body and mind, walking away with his dignity and immense wealth intact, rather than pushing through the pain for diminishing returns. Was the fall of Hazard a financial or a spiritual tragedy? Financially, Hazard is more than secure. His career earnings, propelled by his Chelsea contract and his massive high-salary deal at Real Madrid, place his net worth well over $100 million, a fortune built on his fleeting but brilliant prime. But the true cost was the loss of his footballing identity, the exhilarating genius that made him one of the most exciting players of his generation, a luxury talent that the world was robbed of too soon. Therefore, the tragedy lies not in his bank account, but in the unfulfilled promise of a player who should have had many more years at the very top. How will history ultimately judge the complicated legacy of Eden Hazard? He leaves behind a duality: the glorious, untouchable icon of Chelsea who single-handedly carried the team to multiple trophies, and the immensely disappointing, injury-plagued figure at Real Madrid. His prime was world-class, but his ending was profoundly anticlimactic. But even the most catastrophic decline cannot erase the golden years of dribbling, goals, and joy he brought to millions, especially in the Premier League. Therefore, his story is a poignant reminder that immense talent is fleeting, and that the greatest luxury in football is not the massive contract, but the simple gift of an unbreaking body. Number 5. What does the post-retirement life of football's most expensive luxury look like? Today, Eden Hazard enjoys the quiet luxury that his immense career earnings afforded him, trading the pressure of the Bernabeu for time with his wife and children. His lifestyle is comfortable, refined, and private, a stark contrast to the relentless public scrutiny he endured in his final playing years. But he remains intimately connected to the game through his family, watching his younger brothers Thorgan and Kylian continue their careers, a subtle reminder of the footballing bloodline he belongs to. Therefore, his retirement is not an end to his association with the sport, but a dignified retreat into his own secure, wealthy, and peaceful existence. Does the pain of the fall overshadow the glory of the rise? For Hazard himself, the memory of his Chelsea prime, his leadership of the Belgian golden generation to a third-place World Cup finish in 2018, and the sheer joy he experienced on the pitch remains his true legacy. He realized his dream of playing and winning major trophies, but the speed and finality of his decline serve as a cautionary tale for all aspiring stars. Success at the highest level requires not only talent and money, but absolute uncompromising commitment to physical excellence. Therefore, his story is essential viewing for anyone who seeks to understand the razor-thin margin between becoming a legend and becoming a footnote in a club's history books. Why is the story of Eden Hazard truly a Luxe legend? Because he represents the peak price of pure, unadulterated footballing genius. He was a luxury item at Lille, a treasured asset at Chelsea, and the most expensive gamble in Real Madrid history. His career was a meteoric rise followed by a dramatic, heartbreaking descent. His story is a cinematic masterpiece of triumph and tragedy, a testament to the fragile nature of greatness. Eden Hazard, the man who turned an ankle injury into the end of an era. We will remember the Chelsea wizard, the dribbler who danced, the player who brought magic to the mundane. His fall was agonizing, but his peak was pure, unadulterated footballing luxury. Join us next time on Luxe Legends as we delve into another incredible story of power, glory, and legacy. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Luxe Legends, where power, glory, and legacy clash.